Back everyone, I'm James the Tie Guy, and today we're going to be taking a look at the latest Clone Commander to be released into the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch line by Hasbro. This is Clone Commander Wolffe, and he is an exclusive release. In the US, he's exclusive to GameStop, ThinkGeek, Barnes & Noble, and the Disney Store. And in Canada, he's going to be available from EB Games, since they're owned by GameStop, as well as any of the other mentioned stores that are in Canada. This particular figure here I had imported from Quebec because he's not seen a wide release here in the US yet. In GameStop system, he's currently showing a 7/1 release date, so that's July 1st, although that's not confirmed. He's not available for pre-order yet from GameStop, but I know some sites in the UK are showing him for pre-order. This particular figure has got a higher retail price, similar to the Gree figure that released as a Toys R Us exclusive. In the US, he's $24.99 MSRP, and in Canada, he's $26.99 MSRP. So it is a bit more, but he is a really nice figure, and for the price point, these figure lines are still unmatched. You can get nicer detailed ones from Japan and Bandai and some other makers, but they're going to come at a much more premium cost. So what we'll take a look at is the box. First of all, it's standard fare with any Black Series that you've seen recently. That's an exclusive, no number on the side, just Clone Commander Wolffe, and then this designation here, but no actual two-digit number like the other Black Series have. Over here, you got his name in red, and then the printing right here. Nice artwork of him here and his helmet. And then on the back, it says Clone Commander Wolffe, clone designation CC 3636, served in the Clone Wars as commander of the Titanite unit known as the Wolffe Pack. As seasoned in battered combat, Wolffe has witnessed some of the worst the war has to offer. Despite tragedy, he fights on bravely, proudly brandishing his battle scars and instilling loyalty among his men. So if you remember, Wolffe was one of the few clones, along with Gregor and Rex, that removed their inhibitor chip, and they were one of the few. He was one of the few commanders that was able to escape Order 66, and eventually he went to live with Gregor and Wolffe, or Gregor and Rex rather, in a decommissioned ATTE in the desert that we've seen in Star Wars Rebels. So interesting backstory. That's why he's one of my favorite clones, and I'm glad that they picked him next to make along with Rex. So we'll take him out here, and I'll set his box aside. Packaged just like any other Black Series figure. Helmet comes with his two DC-17 pistols, although he is able to hold the bigger DC-15 blaster rifle. I've actually got one of those from an older Black Series figure, one of the clones, and I've got some pictures of him holding it. And it looks really well. It looks really good on him. So we'll take his helmet, his accessories out. I've opened this already to do pictures, so going in and out was an easy process. Putting him back in the box, taking him out again, you can make it look even as if nothing ever happened except for the tape seal being cut. So here is the figure. I'll show it to you with him without his helmet initially. Let's see if we can get some details here. He does benefit from the dot matrix facial printing text that Hasbro has implemented in the recent 2018 line. He is of the same genetic blueprint, of course, as Rex, so that means using Tamora Morrison's likeness. But you will notice, by bringing Rex here for comparison, they are a bit different looking, although the same. I've seen some people say they don't like the face as much because it looks like it's based on a completely different person. But I think the similarities are there. You just got to remember that Rex has got dyed blonde hair, cut short, almost shaved, and then Wolffe had a thicker head of black hair, and then of course his scar. He's not quite as dark colored on his skin. The one thing I wish that they did better, and this is subject to your personal taste, but Rex has some great weathering on his armor, a great wash to it, and it goes a good along with him and his helmet, because as you know, he used some copper soldering here to put a phase 1 and phase 2 helmets and armor together to to his liking. So I guess that beat up look goes a little bit better with it. Whereas Wolffe has got a little bit of weathering, but it's more like just some mud spatters on his armor. But I'm actually okay with that when I step back and think about it, because not every clone always had their armor looking rough. You know, there were times when they had it looking good for ceremonies or whatever. So I'm not going to pick on that too much, because it's still a fine figure. He's got his comm link on his shoulder here. Typical backside for the clone armor, thermal detonator, his comma. Mine is a little bit crooked, I guess you could say. I tried to bring it around a little bit. I was afraid I was going to tear it. If you look in the back, it's a little bit more evident. It's not a huge deal though. It's nothing that I'm going to write home about, that's for sure. And then he's got his scar here, which I was looking at pictures of him and some Clone Wars material from the series, and I know his scar went vertical. I didn't see any pictures with this little offshoot. I could be wrong though. That might have happened later or something, but the scar and the cybernetic eye in there looks good. The cybernetic eye was white with just a tiny little bit of pupil to it, so it'd be hard to replicate that in something so small. His eye has got actual printing in it. You can see the white and then the brown and then the black pupil, so they've done really good there. I mean, detail on these has stepped up so much from the last year, and I really have to commend Hasbro for doing a good job. We got him with his helmet here. I love his helmet. He, in his Phase 2, wore a bark helmet from a bark speeder, and if you notice, they're a little bit more forward facing, the slants in it, and that's so that they can see what's ahead of them better than other helmets, because you know, bark speeders travel at insanely fast speeds, hundreds of miles an hour. So that's something that I found interesting when I was looking up this helmet to get the exact name for it. It's got the teeth printed on the side of it. It's got his kill marks up here, the red triangle. Bring it up here and get to see if it'll focus on it a little better. It's got his rangefinder slash antenna here that will move up and down. A little bit of weathering there, some mud. It goes on him easier than it does on the Rex clone, which is odd, I guess, because his head is more of that high and tight haircut instead of rounded like Rex, but I think they made it a little bit bigger for that purpose. But it goes on. It does have the same issue with his chin sticking out the bottom as Rex did, but that's only something you're going to notice if you're up underneath him, like taking pictures or posing him like that from a normal viewing point. It's not something that you're going to even see. He looks, as you can see, great in his armor. I mean, he's just an awesome looking clone. His pistols each have a holster. My one gripe, if I've got the biggest gripe about him, and this was the same with the Rex figure, is he only has one hand with a trigger finger. The other hand is just normal. Now I would be okay with this on someone who wielded a rifle, even if it was a shorter blaster rifle, because they would hold, you know, the stock in this hand and then support the barrel in this one. But because he has these two pistols, DC-17s, that they would normally dual wield, I really wish that they would give him a second trigger finger. And it was the same with Rex, because he looks great holding the blaster here. I mean, you can get it lined up perfectly. A little bit hard doing it backwards from behind the camera here, but you can get it lined up perfectly with his finger going into the right on the trigger like that. So that's great, but not so good with this one. You can get it, you know, you can get him to hold it, but it just kind of looks a little weird because he's just kind of holding it like that. Like, it's not normally how they would hold it when they're in battle. They would have their finger on the trigger like this one. So it still works, but that's not a huge gripe, and that's the biggest one I have, if that tells you anything. So it's not a huge deal, but I just had hoped that they might have learned from the Rex figure, because I've seen some feedback from other people's reviews about that. But they use the same. That's okay. I'm not too upset about it. So there he is. As far as his articulation goes, really great. He's double jointed on his knees and his elbows. So you've got that movement there, and then you've got the movement right here, right above the knee. So it goes for both of his legs. His feet actually twist all the way around 360. Have side-to-side movement, both of them. You can pose them at natural angles even. So no problems with his articulation. Hands go all the way around. Elbows, like I said, double jointed. So the points of articulation on these figures are great, well over 20 of them. He's got his torso here. He can actually turn all the way around. And then his legs, I was able to get him some poses that looked like he was running, and one that looked like he was kind of taking like a defensive stance. So, I mean, really great articulation there. And as far as standing on his own, he will do it pretty easily, just like that. So if we bring in Rex next to him here, I've got Cody and Gree that I'm going to do pictures with, all four of them. But Rex and Wolffe here are the only ones that have removable helmets. So that's why I've only got the Rex here with him right now. I love Gree and Cody as well, but these figures are quite a bit better in their detail and everything about them. I have to say, Cody was, a good figure for when he was made, but you've got to remember that was like 2014, so a lot was different then about the Black Series. And then Gree came along last year, and he's really nice too, but doesn't have that removable helmet. But he was definitely a step up with his paint apps. And then these guys come along, and they're just in a league of their own. Just awesome looking guys together. I mean, at retail, if you can find them at that, these guys come in under $50 for the pair, and you're not going to get any type of clone figure from Figure Arts or anything like that for that much money, unless it's maybe one of the older, just generic Phase 1 clones. So you really can't beat the value with them at all. I mean, they're just awesome for the money. So if you can get him a hold of him for his retail price, highly recommend it. If you really like clones like I do, and you just can't wait to get your hands on him, there are ways to do it. Like I had this one imported in. It did cost more, and I mainly did it for the channel so that I could do this review and some pictures. But there's ways to get them if you want it earlier than the actual release date. And then I wanted to mention here, before we go, the side did a really good job of the Wolfpack logo on both sides of him there. It looks great. It's one of my, probably with the 501st and the 212th, the Wolfpack is definitely one of my favorite of the clone battalions. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know, either in a comment down below or on my channel's Facebook page, and I'll be happy to help you or answer anything that I can. I appreciate everybody's support so far, and hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. That would help me out tremendously. And as always, I hope everyone has a great week, and may the Force be with you.